Alhamdulillah. We'll try to be brief because we know you want to spend time with your families, other things. You may have people here from out of town that you have to get back to. There's some conferences going on. Speaking tomorrow at MAS conference at 3 o'clock on the lake of Imam Khatib Muhammad. So our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was an expert in Arab culture. He understood the psyche of the Arab people. He understood their uniqueness. He understood their sensitivities. There is no way someone who was not an Arab and who was not from the Quraysh. What I'm sharing with you right now is very important. There was no one who was not an Arab, who was not from the Quraysh, that could have had the same social impact as he had. Because he was delivering a message in a social context. That is why it's important that those who are aware of the unique sensitivities in their cultures, in their societies, in their neighborhoods, that they're the ones that take this message of the Quran back into those environments because they are aware of the unique sensitivities in those environments. Because if not, sometimes you can be well-meaning but offend people. You can be a hafiz of Quran, know the Quran cover to cover. You don't know the local customs of a people. Sometimes things you do in your own local custom that is norm, that would not be taken as offensive, will be taken as offensive in a different environment, in a different context. You don't even have to leave America. Just go to Boston for a little while, or go to Chicago for a little while. And as stereotypical as this may seem, I was in Chicago with a person from Chicago. You know, I'm from Houston, right? As a matter of fact, I'm originally from El Paso. And El Paso was small, and everybody knew where every place was, right? So especially if there's a major street. So if you were lost, you roll down the window and say, have you seen this street? They say, yeah, you drive here, turn right here, drive 3 blocks, you're there. When I first moved to Houston, I used to think there was something wrong with Houston people. Because every time I would roll down my window and I would ask, where is this street? They would look at me, I don't know where that street is. I'm from El Paso. It was small. So I'm in Houston. I go to Chicago, right? Still in Houston. If I say, where's Westheimer, you can tell me, right? Major street, right? So I was in Chicago, and I was in the neighborhood, like, right? And so I did my thing, right? So I rolled down the window. So like if I'm driving down Belfort and I say, where's MLK? Everybody should be able to say, yeah, MLK, just go right up the street, right? So I'm in Chicago, and I roll down the window. I'm like, where's 64th? And they just look at me. So the brother said, you ain't speaking Chicago. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm not. He said, let me handle this. I know how to speak Chicago. I said, okay. So we pull up. I rolled down the window. He said, 64th, 64th. The person said, yeah, 64th. And it was, yeah. Right. Context. Right? So listen, you've been touched by Islam. And you know the context that you came from. You have the solution. Ma'in, nutfa, alaq. That's 3, right? Mudgha, idama, lahma. That's 6. Thumma ansha'nakum khalqan akhar. That's 7, right? Now, Adam on level 1 on the ascension. John and Jesus on level 2. Who's on level 3? No. Idris is on 4. Yusuf is on 3. Yusuf gets taken from an environment, put in another environment, right? And was a common person in that environment. He was not able to put himself over anything. But what did he do? He solved a problem. Didn't he? The king was having dreams, right? He was having these dreams. And Yusuf was given ta'wil. He was given a unique ability by God to interpret these visions. Then after he solved the problem, the king put him in a position of authority, right? So sometimes to change an environment, you can know how to solve the problem. But those who are, if you don't have the backing of those who are perceived as trusted in that environment, you still can't. Because no matter how much Yusuf had this unique ability, if it had not been the king whose visions he solved, Yusuf did not enact the reform in that society. The king did. But the king said, this one is the one who showed me how to solve these challenges. So I'm giving him a special position. All right? Now, when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Medina, what did he do? He solved a problem. But whose problem did he solve? The problem of the people who were already in Medina. Al-Aws and Khazraj. Now, the leaders of Al-Aws and Khazraj were supporting him. And if he did not have the support of the leaders of the people in Medina, he never would have been in a position to solve the problem. And he was the messenger of God, put out of his environment by his people. Did he go back? He eventually went back to Mecca, right? And they said, okay, they were like, all right, so we wouldn't accept you. You went to another people, solved their issues. Now we're going to accept you. So if you can't yourself change that environment, you got to get somebody from that environment. You got to get somebody from that environment and give them the knowledge and then allow them to go back into that environment and change it. And that is what made our predecessors in the Nation of Islam successful. I know that turns some of your stomachs. None of us would be sitting here today if it was not for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if it was not for the Nation of Islam. This place that we're sitting in today would not be here. Regardless of what your personal feelings about the theology of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was. Okay? And it's too far beyond the time we have today. So for you to see that later on he recognized his own errors and he made steps necessary to correct the errors that he had made. Okay? But when you see their methodology, they would recruit the top cat, thug, whatever you want to call, from that environment. Then once they taught him, they would send him back into that environment. Why? Because he had the cred. He had the reputation. They already knew he was for real. And we all know the stories. What? Islam, that program did this for you? Because they knew. So brothers and sisters, one, let's not forget the environments that we come from. And realize that the onus is on us to go back in those, even if we go help other people. Like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. Okay? Like Yusuf did. But Yusuf, remember, he helped his own people too, right? So even if we help other groups, because that's the power of the message of the Quran. Don't forget the environment that you come from. Don't forget those people that you grew up with, that looked like you, talked like you, who were in your crew, who was in your group, whatever. Don't forget that you have the knowledge and the lifestyle to help them and liberate them. And you are uniquely qualified to go back into those environments and bring about change. Never forget that. Okay. Well, Imam, all I know is Al-Fatiha. That's all you need, brother. Allahu Akbar. You got more Quran than all the rest of them in that environment. Imam, all I know is Bismillah. That's all you need. In the name of God. So, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Alaq. Next is mudghah. Two morsels of flesh. Inshallah. So we invite you back. I'll probably be gone for a couple weeks. I won't be doing Jummuah here for a couple weeks. But so probably more toward the middle of December, we'll pick back up on this discussion in Jummuah. So alhamdulillah, I think Elijah has a few announcements. May Allah keep you and your family safe. Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam, takbir. Just real quick, we won't have any programs this Sunday. Inshallah, we will start back up the following Sunday. Also, the winter camp, Camp Khalil, the premier Muslim youth camp for youth 13 and 17, will be taking place December 21st through the 25th. You can register or sponsor your youth online or get more information about Camp Khalil by going to www.campkhalil.org. You can look at the flyer outside to get the web address, but we strongly encourage you to support the efforts of Camp Khalil. This will be their 7th year of taking youth out into the natural environment and helping them cultivate their future leadership skills. Please don't forget to give generously in your donation and your zakat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Get your Muslim journal, and if you need some extra dessert that you didn't get any bean pie, bean cake, Brother Vincent will be next door. Assalamu alaikum.